Marilyn Alauria with Anna Maria Vasquez. Anna Maria, say hi.
Hey everyone, I love your peeps. We have the best time with them.
We really do. So for those of you who I haven't been live in a while, and Anna Maria is probably one of my most favorite people in the friggin' world. So I am super excited to have her on today. So if you're as excited as I am, this is a little doggy. Give us little likes and loves, because Anna Maria is an incredible, gifted human being. And we're going to have such an incredible conversation about how important nature is for connecting to your guides and connecting to source energy. And she is a super expert in this area. Like when she talks about trees and everything, I'm just like, it's like that Calgon commercial. Take me away. Take me
I
away.
love that. Your trees are in the background and they totally like orchestrated it. They're like, we want in on this one. And then
Exactly, because Anna Maria, right, I had to move all the way around the table to get the lighting right, and the trees were like, we're in. So for those of you who don't know Anna Maria, tell us a bit about yourself and who you are.
You know, I love connecting folks to nature and animals because I understand that that's the way that some of us are just totally wired. You know, nature, animals, it lights us up. We get recharged by it, but we never thought that it was more than what's really going on. And so I wasn't born coming out of my womb, you know, doing readings, doing animal readings. I forgot most of my life. I had a couple interesting things happen and I didn't understand it, but mostly it was just like, this energy is crazy. I don't understand it. It makes me crazy. It makes me want to numb out in various different ways. But since I'm a good girl, I can only do a little bit in each area. And so it packed on pounds. It kept toxic relationships in place. And as soon as I got serious with the universe and I said, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I want to learn. I want to remember how to connect with the animals and with nature. And that sent me on an amazing adventure, and nothing turned out the way that I thought it was supposed to. I went on a vision quest and nothing happened. And I'm like, what? And I'd been asking in earnestness that the animals start talking to me, and a tree started talking to me first. And I know now all of us are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But in my humanness, I was like, the hell am I going to do with a talking tree? Maybe I'm crazy, you know? So I had such a learning curve and I love that now. You know, at the time I didn't like it, but now looking back and as I'm teaching other people to unpack their intuitive backpacks, I get it. It was all in place for me to really be able to have empathy and compassion and understanding for people who are trying to make these connections. But this density is so dense, we forget. And nature is here to be our ally and help us reconnect. It's not a backdrop. It needs to be front and center. Our brothers and sisters in the animal and nature realm, trees, minerals, rocks, stones, plants, all of them can co-conspiring with us to help us create our dream lives.
You know, I love everything you're talking about. I'm having a little bit of an echo, so I may have to disappear for a while and come back. But I think it went away. So what I love about what Anna Marie is saying, because I get so many questions like, I'm getting headaches, or I'm accelerating, or my vibration is going up, because people are like connecting with their inner guidance and God and spirit. And my answer always is to go out and hug a tree or get into nature. And do you find that too with the work that you're doing, like how much it grounds us? And it is you just said it, it's just the thing that just sets us up in this work.
It does. It's amazing. And I get that not everybody is wired to be able to do closed eye sitting meditations. That some people, that just like makes them want to crawl out of their skin. And we're trying to get to that inner voice. That's what we're trying to do in meditation. We're trying to see everything that's going on and get to that inner voice. Well, what I found is connecting to nature, sitting in the auric field of a tree or of a boulder. It's phenomenal the way that you can amplify that inner voice and you can tune in and recalibrate yourself to that life force energy that comes through nature. And it helps us remember so much sooner than if left on our own, you know?
Yeah, I love that you said that. And of course, Micah has a lot to say that. And guys, if you're just joining us, give us some likes and loves. Let us know.
Wiggle your tail. Wag your
And
tail.
wiggle the tail. So Anna
I
Marie,
can't believe that Astro, my Great Dane, hasn't come down to check out what Mike is saying, because normally he's like, "What? There's a dog in the living room?"
right, exactly. They're like, "Where is that?" I love when my dogs fart, and then they're like, "What was that?"
What's that? They probably learned that from you.
Be quiet, Anna Maria. Be quiet. So, the reason why like Anna Maria is here is because, first of all, she is my soul sister. She is somebody who teaches so well this material. And if there's anybody that I support and promote, it's her, because I know that there's never any ego. And I don't know if you've ever seen her do some live, and we'll take some questions around nature, that when she does live responses, her responses are so organically spirit. They're so come through, so amazing that there's no ego, there's no projection, there's no crap in there. And that's what I'm about. And that's what Anna Maria is about. So Anna Maria, talk to us. She's got this incredible class that I do want to let you guys know about early on, because I can't believe it's just friggin' $97. Like, she's insane. And then there's an upgrade in this class for $197. And I want to just talk about this briefly right now in the beginning, and then we're going to take some of your questions and answers, and Anna Maria can talk more about this. So let me share this with everyone, and it's called, you know what, Anna Maria? I lost the link. Let me find it. So what's the name of this class? And tell us a little bit about this class, and tell us why you created this class. It's activating your sacred alliance with the natural world, which, oh my goodness, is so great.
Yeah, it came twofold. For me, it was my own journey of feeling like I had to do everything myself. Like I was in this my own, and I was going to, somehow do it on my own, or I had to do it on my own. And the more that I connected with nature, the more that they told me, whether it was the trees, the rocks, the animals, the plants, no, we're all here to do it together. None of you are supposed to be doing it on your own. And this part about us, because it's hard here being on Earth. I get that. I'm here too. And some days is like Jiminy Crickets. I don't know what the hell. And then other days, are blissful. But it's about, and so we spend a lot of time trying to get up and out. And so we just want to go and connect somewhere to woo-woo land because it's hard to be here. But what I've learned from the natural world is that the more we come into our body fully and connect with all of our brothers and sisters, whether they're, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the ones that have trees and branches and flowers, whatever that is, the easier it gets for us, the more we're able to raise our own vibration so that we can hear that inner guidance that comes from God, universal source, whatever it is that you call it, whatever it is that you resonate with. And again, some of us, really get turned on by angels or ascended masters or our guides or whatever it is. And some of us, it's a horse, it's a dog, it's a rock. Mm-hmm. It's the rock we have in our pocket all the time that hopefully we ask permission for it to come with us because it's a being and we forget sometimes as humans. But anyway, so folks resonate with the messages that I talk about. I mean, we see it right here now. People are like, yes, or I got this tree or a dog or a cat. And yet they get so excited and then they don't know where to start with me. And so what I did was I took my favorite parts from a bunch of my different courses and I put them together, all of them that had to do with us connecting into our own natural rhythm and receiving that divine guidance and intuiting those messages. So we talk about you calibrating your own field, which involves getting outside and then other things that we can do. We talk about the seasons and how each season can give you guidance. The thing that the trees laughed at me the hardest about is how much time we spend asking for help or a sign or show me. And what it really is we don't ever shut up really to actually hear it, like we just walk around going, oh my gosh, it's so hard and I don't know and tell me and please and, and oh, I don't know. And it's so silly. We give away our power so much and we've been trained to do that. So that's okay too. But they laugh at us because they're like, if you would just be quiet, get quiet and get present, you would see all of the messages that have been coming in through all of these different avenues that are giving you the support and the guidance that you're needing. And we work through, one of my favorite parts in the course, oh my gosh, because the plants just started talking, is the music of the plants. And so we know a lot about, learning about grounding from plants, but what we are just embarking on is the consciousness and the intelligence of plants, because it's only been in the last not even 50 years that we've been actually exploring this. And so there's a community in Damanhur, Italy, and they study the consciousness of plants, and they developed a machine that you can hook up to plants that agree to be hooked up to, because they will not sing. If they've not been asked, they just won't sing. It's so funny. I've witnessed so much with plant personality through working with this. So I have my own machine, and I work with the plants, and it translates their biofield into music, and we can hear it. And so you know how we use plants like sage to clear a space, or we take a plant to boost or balance, or homeopathy or flower essences where we take the energy and the essence? Well, this is the sonic form of that. And our whole body and our DNA will reconfigure itself when it hears these pieces. So I take you through that whole piece. Gosh, all of a sudden I drew a blank on whatever else is in there, but it's a really big package. And it also has a live component. And so the next date that I'll be doing the live readings for the folks in that group is going to be, well, it's a month from now. I believe it's around this date in December. I don't have it listed on there, but it'll be up for those who register. So you get time with me reading the energy for you, and for you to know how to go deeper. What is it that you need to go deeper?
So this is great. So you'll see I'm putting the in the comments, you can take a look at this. It's only $97. It's got 7 different modules, which is insane. And we're going to take some of the questions, but I want to go over something that Anna Maria said. But besides all this natural stuff, she's got some incredible bonuses in here: the Mineral Kingdom, intuitive crystal readings, journeys with the elements through the 4 elements. Anna Maria, we're going to have to talk about your pricing, because $97 is so low. And then there's $197 upgrade where you get a reading with her, and she is just unbelievable. So do check that link out. But there's 2 things. And like I said, we're going to take some questions, because some really great questions in here. If you have questions for Anna Maria and really for Anna Maria and me about nature and how nature serves you. But I want to highlight 2 very important things that Anna Maria said. One is, well, there was many. So I'm going to highlight 3. What I love about what she's talking about, nature, rocks, trees, flowers, so many of you are searching and searching to hear your guide, see your guide. And when you get out into nature and you recognize that it's something tangible right there that you can hold on to and connect with your guide through that vibration of that tree or that rock or the ground or the flower, then you recognize that you have access to it so much quicker than you initially thought. Do you want to add something to that?
That is, it's like it raises our vibration, and the information starts to flood in. And because we don't expect a tree to open its mouth and talk to us, we're actually able to receive it so much easier than those who are trying to connect with their horse or their fish or their bird, because we expect them to open their mouth and speak English, and that doesn't happen.
Or to the thing that you haven't even seen yet. So you're waiting for that guide to show up that you don't know, and then you have this tangible object. And the other thing that I have found is, and this is why I think her work is so important, is when you touch it, there's an intuitive light that goes on inside of you, because this tree, this nature, it's one with us. And the other thing she said that I think is so important, and I want to repeat this. I remember going through, this happened a lot of times, but I remember one particular day where I went through something really kind of extremely difficult, where the rug just gets like whoosh, pulled out from under you. And it was a very panic-driven moment. And instead of panicking, I got in my car with my dogs and went on my favorite hike. And this was a big deal, what was going on. And I was in the middle of something huge. And that hike, nature, we have that available to us all the time. How many people, Anna Maria, are in the hamster wheel of problems, and they're constantly looking for solution? And I want to hear what you have to say. That you said this, you go out to nature and you get those answers. And this is what I feel like your work does, because it helps to facilitate that divine connection with nature so you can get those answers even quicker.
Right. And what's unfortunate for so many of us is, or all of us, we live in such synthetic environments. You know, we've got radio waves, we've got EMFs, we've got microwaves, some people have, and all of this stuff going on affecting us. Not to mention, oh gosh, it just goes on and on and on. And when we're in that vibration, it keeps us lower if we're not setting the intentions and doing things in an intentional way to keep our vibration raised. And so coming back to nature, automatically the science that's happening, I mean, you can look it up in earthing.org. We are being flooded with negative ions from that natural life force energy, which those negative ions are what's being pulled from our bodies all the time when we're in synthetic environments. So it brings our body back into balance, brings us back into the remembering. And what I love doing is, you know, taking these etheric kinds of principles and ideas and bringing them into practical use for us on an everyday basis.
Oh my God. Love and likes. Oh my goodness. Thank you for saying that, because I'm so tired of the shit that's out here that doesn't ground people to live their life, and they're meditating for those bills to get paid and it's not doing it.
Right. And here's the other thing, because there are times when we're like, what? I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the exercises. I'm sitting outside. I've been sitting under the frickin' tree. The neighbors are ready to call the cops on me and things don't move. Well, here's the thing. We forget it's not just this lifetime. It's past lifetimes. It's genealogical things that are affecting us. And we're seeing this around the world. All the old stuff's coming up to be cleared so that we can move forward, because you cannot create an empowered future on a broken past.
Yes.
And so this is why my team wouldn't let me remember this part until now. The very first module are 7 different shamanic journeys that I take you on to get real with our human embodiment. What have we done to the earth that we still benefit from, even though we harmed the earth? And now we're trying to be in an alliance. Hey, Sam, we're trying to be in an alliance with the earth. And we're wondering, like, well, I don't understand. You know, it's like when you have a fight with your beloved, and until they get it, you're like, I'm not having it. And we're just, until you get it. And that's what's going on with the animals. That's what's going on with the plants. That's what's going on with our ancestors. That's what's going on with our unseen allies. And so when we can go forward and say, you know what? Maybe I didn't do those things personally myself, but I benefited in some way in this life or past life through my genealogy. And I want to take a stand for the earth. And I want to be that conduit through which this divine consciousness flows. Well, then we can get real, and then we can move on, and we can begin to shift things in our life and on the planet. And God knows we need that right now.
I love that. I want to take some questions because we're getting great questions. But I keep hearing an echo. Hopefully people can hear me. So if for those of you who are just joining us, Anna Maria has this special offer for my audience, $97, intentiontraining.com/national natural-realm-activation. It's in the comments section. We'll pin it. It's also on the screen right now, but I'm going to take it away for a second. So Anna Maria, I love this, and I love her work, and I love how easy she makes it. Like, I'm glad she's not out here woo-woo, probably why we're friends. But Leah asked a really interesting question. How do you connect to nature when it's freezing outside during the winter season? I lived in New York City and my body goes into survival mode as the cold feels brutal to my body and nervous system. Will animals work in place of nature during the cold season?
That is a great question. And I live at 8,500 feet up in the Rocky Mountains. And so I get it. Like, it's cold sometimes and I'm just waving at the trees from in the house because I am not leaving that wood stove. And so what we have to do, and this is important for all of us. So we have our daily practice, where we go outside and we, sit under a tree or on a rock or whatever it is. But what's our backup? Because that's usually our lower selves way of getting us out of the routine. Oh, you're too busy today. You can't do your whole hour that you really know that you need. And so planning for these things ahead of time really helps. So you already know cold weather is going to be there. What about the day that you feel sick and you can't go outside, or the day that you are rushed and you slept in? So what's your contingency plan? I love to have things of nature that can surround me in my home. I love to have pictures of nature. You can receive that vibration through that. You can, now with the internet, we can play, sometimes just on our computer screen, we'll have all these beautiful natural places flipping through a slideshow, and you can receive that. When you set your intention to receive and to plug into that vibration, well, your brain doesn't know the difference between that and you sitting on that beach or you sitting on that rock. So it's all about you coming back inside and getting connected and using nature as that way. And yes, your animals can help, but I will tell you, if your animals are like mine, all they're going to help you do is snuggle in and sleep in later. They're not, they are little furry gurus and guides, but they're also embodied here too. So they're like, they'll work you for treats, they'll work you for extra snuggle time instead of you really getting connected in.
I love that. I love that. I feel like I've always said that, like, we have so many things to our on our fingertips, and we have to, like, it's just mindset. That's why I really feel like people who sometimes have health issues, they think they can't do yoga, but if they do yoga in their mind, it's going to shift something vibrational in their body. So that's what Anna Maria is explaining with the thing. So let's get some likes and loves. Here's another great question. There's a lot of them, so I'm going to try to choose through them. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Anna Maria Vasquez. She's offering up to my audience an incredible class. So it's in the comments section. I'll put it in again right now after she answers this question. And it's really great about getting in contact with nature. And she's got bonuses, and it's $97, and it's insane. So here's Matt's question. How do we feel about cut flowers? Is that like killing them?
Right? And we have these whole places where we raise them just to kill them. Kind of sounds like our food supply too, doesn't it? And I'm not trying to get judgmental on anyone about food choices or anything. What I'm saying is we need to bring a new consciousness to it. If we're going to do that, and the plants and the animals understand there's a life cycle, they understand there's a cycle of life, they understand that there's a food chain, they get all of that. What they don't understand is the unconsciousness that's involved and the cruelty that's involved. There's no reason that you need any of that involved. And I'm talking about plants too, because now we're like injecting them with these weird unnatural dyes, and all of this stuff, and they still have a life force energy. So we want to be more conscientious. And the Buddha even talks about, you say you love something, but you pick it and it dies. So it's more about whether you do it or you don't do it. That doesn't really matter, but what's your consciousness? Because we have beautiful wildflowers up here and we will pick them, but we ask. And we say, what we would like to do is bring some of your beautiful vibration into our home to help us remember and stay open. So who would like to come with us? Because sometimes they don't want to go with you. Sometimes they're like, hey, I like this ecosystem. And some of them are like, oh my gosh, that's such an adventure. I would love to go. But we'll never know if we don't ask. So it's about tuning in. And again, where are we buying the flowers from? Where did they come from? And we don't know these answers a lot of times, just like with our food. So it's about a whole life consciousness coming through, getting curious. It's not even about changing anything right away, just getting curious, like that question. Beautiful.
I love this. Somebody said the link is not saying, so can you pin this in the comments? I'm just asking my assistant, Laura, to do that so that you can join the class if you want. She's
so amazing, keeping everything moving.
Oh, my goodness. And she showed a picture inside the membership group of kids crawling on a baby, kids, husbands, kitchen under construction. And she's hosting my webinars and handling all she handles. It's great. So what I feel like with the flowers, I love how you answered that because and I want to take some more questions in this, is that, I love the consciousness of it, because if we appreciate the beauty of them and what they are there, even if you're in Trader Joe's and you're walking by all the beautiful flowers and just the appreciation and the love, and sing them a song. Denny asked a great question. I want to see if I can find it. He said that when he comes home, he talks to his plants. Here, it's right here. Sometimes this thing goes. He says, how do I know the plants hear me when I come home, and say hi plants to them and tickle them, of course. And I love that question.
I love that too. And we actually have scientific backing to this. And I can't, my history timeline is off, but the 20s or the 30s, they were doing plant intelligence testing, and they would hook the plants up so that they could tell what was going on. And they would pay attention to other things going on in the room. But every time a human entered, all of their attention and energy went to the human in that room. And this is how I know they're supporting us. They love us. They want us to remember. So the way that I feel your plants when you tell me that story, I feel them like those wiggly little dogs. Even my 135-pound dog gets really wiggly when I come home and I'm interacting with him. And that's what I feel from your plants. it's so exciting. And here, to me, it's the same thing as like, how do you know if your guides hear you? Well, they do. Of course they do. Like, we don't understand here because it's like, I said something and I don't hear them. But we have to remember that our ability to sense, perceive, see, or hear is like this big compared to everything that's going on until you begin to tune in. So I love your plants are like happy as heck. You know, they are just so excited. And that's our entire environment is yearning for that kind of attention from us because it's all energy, everything around us.
I love what you said because I have a lemon tree outside and I talk to it like crazy. I sit under it. That tree is like, it's almost like reaching my house. It's growing like crazy. Then I have another tree outside that my neighbor hates. And I swear to you, since she's moved in, that tree is spitting out stuff that I'm like, where is that coming from now? And the last like comment, she's like, will you cut down the tree? And I refuse to cut it down, right? And I'm like, don't ever ask me to cut that tree down again. But it makes me laugh. The tree knows she hates it. And it just spits red berries or it throws stuff into her yard. And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. See what happens? That tree knows.
I've had that happen before, too. I had a friend who, you know, he humored me and my abilities. He knew something was going on, but he hadn't had his own experiences, so he wasn't sure. And I came over and it took me a while to go into the house. And he's like, what were you doing? And I said, oh, I was talking to Pete, the pine tree. And he goes, I hate that tree. And I'm like, holy crap. And he's like, I'm going to cut it down. And I'm like, no, don't cut the tree down. And he's like, whatever, blah, blah, you know, being a human, whatever. And the next morning when he went out, the whole windshield was covered in sap. Pete had covered his windshield in sap, and all I could do was sit back and giggle. And I was like, Pete, that is not helping your case. But he did leave the tree up. You know, he left the tree up. And Pete had this mischievous thing. He would drop pine cones on me or hit me in the bum with his branches if I didn't pay attention to him. I was like, oh my God, he taught me so much about tree personality.
I love that. I love that. These trees, see, and that's what Anna Marie is teaching you, that the power, it's right outside our door. What we want, what we need to feel connected, it's right there. And that's what I love about the work that she's doing. So I'm going to take Catherine's. It's really long, so I'm going to read it really quick because it's covering our face. I've always been a plant person, although I don't live in the redwoods, but in the Southwest desert. I send love and questions to a particular redwood. There was a specific tree under which I would sit and get quiet and sometimes meditate. I was quite surprised when a white-haired, long-bearded, ancient gentleman appeared before me. I was so shocked I didn't even speak to him. But now I reconnect even from here. Will you talk about connecting from afar?
That is so beautiful. And what you did was you connected in on that realm, and then you were able to open up to the other guardians of the forest that had information for you. And, you know, when I first started connecting with trees, and I put them through the ringer because I had to know that I wasn't nuts, you know, because sometimes I wonder about my family. And so I was like, I got to know. And so I put him through all sorts of tests to get information and to know that the information that I was getting was good. And so then when I realized I could connect with trees, all of a sudden I was filled with this sadness because I remembered all the trees that I grew up with. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go back and connect with them and tell them I get it now. I didn't get it then, but I get it now. And right away, the trees reminded me, first of all, everything on the earth is connected. And there's biology that's also showing us this wood wide web where the trees are all connected through all of the fungus in the ground and the microorganisms and those pieces. So the trees taught me you can go back when we use our visualization, when we tap in through our clairvoyance going in through our imagination, we can connect in with those trees. We can go back. If there was a tree that we had to make a decision, because I can feel somebody in a total panic in the group that's like, I didn't know, and I cut the tree down, and I keep feeling this. So I just want them to breathe. You can go back and you can talk. The time construct is just here in this 3D. It's not universal. And so you can go back and connect with that tree and explain to it why you did what you did and why you made the best decision you could do at the point. There is no judgment in the natural realm, in that high vibration of love. Like, we wait to be condemned and punished, and it's not. All they have is love for us, and they get us. They have seen our humans acting out their silliness for eons now, and they understand that. Not that they want us to keep going with it, but they're here and they want us to wake up and connect with them. And I was moving from one place where I had, my first experiences with the trees, and I was heartbroken because I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was a kid going to a new school. I'm like, I'm not going to know anyone there. And they said, yeah, we'll connect you to the trees there. And as soon as I walked on the new property, I saw Alice, and I knew right away that she was the one they connected me with. And then it was like this whole new bestie relationship that was unfolding. So we can go back and connect with any of those trees anywhere or if you see one, we'll see images, and you can connect with them. It's all energy. And as soon as we learn that, we're going to be able to do way more cooler things than that.
Well, it's so great what you brought up, because I find I knock up against this a lot with certain people, that you try to understand what goes on from our consciousness, you're not going to get very far. Their consciousness is so much bigger and larger and expansive and infinite than ours. And that's why there's so many possibilities that are just incredible. It, like, explaining that is so good. So I love what you said. So for those of you, I want to turn off my phone. For those of you who've been looking to join her class, it's now in the pinned post. So you can see it in the pinned comments, and I stuck it in. If you're having problems with it, let us know about that. So just know that it's in the pinned comments as well. So here's an interesting question from Nikki Anna. We're getting great questions, guys, by the way. So we're not going to get to all of them because Anna Maria has a time constraint. But if you join the class for $97, you get a live component with Anna Maria. So you're going to learn quite a bit. She says, I love them too, but every time I try to grow something, it dies. Why? Saddie face. I talked to them. What?
I've had that experience before. I've had it where I've been this amazing green thumb, and then I was like, eeh.
Yeah. So she said, why? I talk to them and send them healing energies. Any ideas? And I want to hear this one.
Interesting. We have our, these points of pain or frustration that show up, and then we use that as evidence against ourselves. Like, well, clearly I'm not connecting into these energies, or if I am, I'm not doing any good because I'm killing them. But that's not what that's not for you what's happening at all. What's coming through really strong is the elemental realm. And what we know about the elementals, the fairies, the gnomes.
Wait, I have to say something. You keep answering the questions before, you don't know what I'm picking. She has no idea what I'm picking. You keep answering the questions before I even get to ask them, because you were answering about the dying and cutting down. And this was the next question. Wait till you see. Let me just show you the next question, because I want you to put them together. Hold on. Where is it? How do you feel about fairies and elementals? That's why Anna Maria is pure magic. Keep going, sweetie. Sorry.
That's what they're asking you, to connect with them, to help them, because the fairies, it used to always be, this is where those garden gnomes came from. They were the physical representation of the spiritual energy that was helping to grow the plants. So for you, it's about you connecting in deeper with your own magic through the fairy realm itself. So you're going to want to learn everything you can about the fairy realm. In this package, actually, I've got one of my folks talking about the elementals in there. And so this is your time, and everyone, to realize, again, there's more going on with that tree than what meets the eye. And it's multiple layers, because the elementals are there to source the growth, to source that spirit that's coming through all of the living things. So for her to connect with them, like the two of us are going to help raise this plant, are going to help source this plant in becoming itself. So it's not a wrongness of you. And this is the thing, after we've done enough work, we got to stop. That outfit doesn't work for us anymore. That raggedy old, I'm not good enough, because it's just ridiculous. You got to find out, what else could it be? And so at this point for you, it's not working, because what other way would you start to invoke the fairy realm? The odds are probably not very high.
I love that. That's great. So in this class, do you teach them how to communicate with the plants and the trees themselves? Like, is that what's happening in this class as well?
Well, it's a natural byproduct of the class, because what it's about, like I said, first we go in and we work on removing these blocks that have kind of kept us from it. We talk about recalibrating your field so that you can bring intention to What am I marinating in energetically that could keep me from connecting? Again, whether it's with nature, the animals, or your guides, what is it in your energetic field that you could be shifting? And it can be really simple, or it could be energetic supplements that help you. Then we talk about getting into our own natural rhythm, because until we get in our own natural rhythm, we're not going to understand our own wiring, and we're always going to compare ourselves to other people. Well, going through the seasons, and you get a recording from me for each of the seasons. So it doesn't matter which side of the, equator you're on, which season you're going into, you're going to have these, and you can go back and listen to them so that you can see what questions are coming up for you right now, and what do the seasons have to say about that. We talk about shadow animals. Everyone wants to talk about my furry little cute animal here, but let's talk about shadow animals, the animals that scare us. Let's talk about our dying and aging animals, because that brings up fear for us. And how can we shift that energy to be an empowerment? We talk about the plants, and then of course we have a live group session that allows you to ask more specific questions for yourself. So
I love it.
I threw everything together that I could to really source people in connecting to nature, because look at our planet. The plants and the animals tell me, it feels a lot like Star Wars, like, help us, Obi-Wan, you're our last hope, because we have to remember to connect to nature. When we are connected at the heart space to nature, we won't live our lives, and we won't make the decisions the way that we keep doing things to this planet. All of that's going to shift, and it only takes a small percentage of us to truly shift to cause the tipping point for the earth to be able to get her ground again and recover from what we've done.
When you talked about natural rhythm, I really liked what you said. Can you speak a little bit more about what is natural rhythm to you, Anna Maria? Because I'd love to talk about that.
Well, what it looks like, when we're avoiding it, what it looks like is we have all this negative self-talk about, like, why can't I stop procrastinating? Why can't I sit down and do this? Why can't I da-da-da-da? Because we've been taught from the time we came out of the womb to be on everybody else's schedule and everybody else's rhythm except for ours. We go to work where there's artificial lighting and artificial environments, heat, cold, whatever it is, where when you're in the seasons, when you're following the earth, she gives you a natural guide for how to follow. Summer, we should be in full expression. In the winter, even if the outside doesn't necessarily reflect it, like someone who lives in California, you feel the difference in your body, and it's asking you to slow down. It's asking you to come inside. It's asking you to go into the dream world. When you're in the spring, you're looking at planting seeds in your life. It gives us a natural guide, and then we start to follow our own natural rhythm, and we start to learn, like, oh, I do like being up early, or, oh, I do like staying up late, instead of being in a forced condition that everybody else has said for us. And we can start to feel into how our energy flows, because that's the key to understanding your own gifts and how it comes through for you, because it never looks like it does for anyone else.
I love that. I love that answer. And I love, I was talking to a friend last night, because this is my season now. We finally have gotten into winter here in California. You are frozen in a very funny thing. I love when we freeze, right? Anna Maria and I were doing that the last time. We're always frozen, like,
I know, big eyes, big mouth.
Yeah. So I missed that about the East Coast, like the hibernation of winter, making you slow down, because I live in California. We love when it rains because it makes us slow down. And I love the darkness, because I just love the darkness, so I don't have a problem with that. And it's a very creative time. So I love how you talk about the natural rhythm and just leaning into that. And it may not be, like, for me, this is a very inspiring time, but because it's a dream state time. So I love that.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. So I like this question by Elodie. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I'm getting really into foraging and medical plants and hoping to connect that information with the community around me. I live in a beautiful and abundant valley. Where should I start?
What I would say for you, what comes through right away is your deeper connection with the plants. And I get this as, I love herbs, plants. To me, if there's an imbalance in my body, that's where I go first. Whether it's an herb, an oil, a food, I'm going to apply plants first. But what's being asked for you at this point is your own personal connection with that plant world, so that you can enter, like how Marilyn and I do. We connect with each other, and we're like, hey, let's work on this project. So for you to connect with the plant world, with the medicinal plants, with the herbs, with the life-giving force through plants that are wanting to go out and spread that message to the people. And as I'm saying this, I kid you not, there goes a hawk. He just flew over. Hawk is about vision. So get clear on your vision, your whys. Like, why do you want to share that with people? I know already, but what's your why? And join into the alliance with the plants to spread this message, because it's going to be so much more powerful than if you try and do it alone.
Love that. That is great.
Got all excited and I spilt my drink.
I know, because this is a topic we could talk about for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. And so for those of you who want to work more with Anna Maria, that is the intention.com /natural-realm-activation training. And it's $97 right now, and you get all these incredible classes plus a free component, or you could do the upgrade for $197 and get readings with Anna Maria, which is amazing. And I just love Anna Maria, everything. Unfortunately, we can't get to everybody's question because she has another call that she has to go to. So if you want to work with her, go check her out. Anna Maria, let me put up her name. Anna Maria Vasquez. And she does incredible stuff and also gives a lot to her audience. She's just amazing. Is there anything you want to leave us with, Anna Maria, for the natural rhythm thing was, everybody put in, first of all, give us some likes and loves because we're giving some great content, but put your takeaways from this conversation, because your takeaways may spark something else in somebody else. Like my biggest takeaway, there were so many here about how tangible and easy nature is right at our fingertips. So many of you are struggling to get into your guidance system or your own natural rhythm or your guides, and we have it right outside our door. And I love that about it. So write down what your takeaways are. Sandra says, I'm in and excited to learn from Anna Maria. So Sandra, good job. Like I can't speak highly enough about Anna Maria, what she gives for her things. So what would be one thing you'd want to gift us with, even though you've gifted us with so much, or one thing you'd want to leave us with before we go?
Well, I love what's coming through the most are the trees. It's so funny which realm gets their say each time we talk. It's always a little bit different. Today, it's the trees. And talking about that natural rhythm, here we are in the autumn energy. And so the trees are showing us how to let go. For this group, it's about let go of the BS that you've made up in your mind about what it should look like when you're connecting. Because I will tell you, when I'm talking to a tree, when I'm talking to a dog, when I'm talking to an ancestor, when I'm talking to a rock, it doesn't feel like it looks in the movies. It doesn't look like how it looks in the movies, but the information is life-changing and it shifts everything. And so let go, drop the stuff that's no longer serving you, that's actually acting as the obstacle between you and your natural giftedness. One of the first things the trees told me was, y'all got to get over yourselves. Like, this talking to animals is so simple. This is small potatoes compared to what's waiting to open up to you guys when you start to remember who you truly be. So wake up. Remember that this density is thick and heavy on purpose, and it creates an amnesia in us that we forget our inherent giftedness. And there's so much more going on when we can learn to be embodied and work between the realms and the dimensions. It literally is magical. And so I am on a mission to help people connect in that way, because we need that tipping point. The planet needs that tipping point.
I agree. I didn't want to add something because it was so good, but I have to add something to this because it just struck me, because I was dealing with different things in membership this morning. What Anna Maria, especially now moving out of 2017 into 2018, this is such a gift to give yourself, to let go. And what she's talking about is also a mindset shift. And that's amazing, because so many people are working on their thoughts and their mindset and shifting out of habits and beliefs and patterns that are no longer serving you. And when you connect to nature, you automatically, like the trees told her, there's so much more out there for you. You automatically shift out of that limited consciousness into expansion. Mm-hmm. So I just had to take what you said, summarize it, and put my little cherry on top.
I'm with you. And this, again, it is always a love fest like this with Marilyn and I, because I get her. I get the way she teaches. I get what she's teaching. I get the authenticity. I get to see behind the curtain, you know, and she's the real deal. And the way that she wants to help you and source you in stepping into your purpose is real. And that's why I want to bring my A game when I come, because it's important to me to honor you.
I feel the same way about you, to honor you. And I feel like Anna Maria and I both are on all your team. We're on your team because I don't want to see people stuck in a corner anymore. I want to see you living your life's purpose and living your heart. And so does Anna Maria. And that's why we get along so well. There's never any competition between us. There's always only pure like excitement for each other's journeys and sharing each other. So Anna Maria, thank you so much for sharing your gifts with my audience again. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah, I love your peeps because they get it, you know?
Yeah.
And then again, like, are there the folks that really feel that pull from nature? Well, then I would love to source you, you know? And even if you're not feeling that connection, there's so many great little things in here that you can use in your everyday. So much fun. I love seeing all these comments. Your folks are great. And I love the person who said, I'm going to keep singing to my animal. They love it so much. Oh my God, they love it. They get such a kick out of it.
I do that all the time. I sing the silliest songs and they just like, you could feel their vibration shift into total happiness. Or I tell them the story about how we met, you know, like the birthing story. Like, do you remember blah, 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 blah?
Yes.
They love it.
Yes, and I have daily doggy dance parties too. And Astro's so big, so he becomes keyboards. So I'm always like doing keyboards on his back, and he sits there and he tries to stand still so that I can play the keyboards.
That's so cute. I was doing double massage yesterday on my two big ones. I was like, wow. Anna Maria, thank you, guys. If you want to learn more about Anna Maria, definitely check out her class and definitely go to her website and check her out. She's pure magic. She's truly loves her audience. That's why I adore her. And Anna Maria, thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much. By the way, I'm shifting the Facebook Lives to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And this is the page. I've closed down Soulful Living with Your Guides. But I do have another group that I'll tell you about next week. I don't want to take attention away from Anna Maria because it's all about Anna Maria today and all the beauty that she shares with all of you. But thank you so much for being part of my community. Anna Maria, thank you, honey. Love you.
Bye-bye. Love you all.
Bye.